Welcome to this explainer. So, let's dive right into something absolutely fascinating today. If you've been watching the massive explosion of AI generation tools lately, you already know that creating a single striking image is one thing. Honestly, a toddler can do that with the right prompt these days. But crafting a compelling, cohesive 60-second story? Well, that requires an entirely different level of precision. Today, we're dissecting a highly effective 60-second motivational script that was designed specifically for AI generation. We're going to look under the hood at the exact prompts, the camera movements, and the structural pacing that actually transforms a simple text command into a literal cinematic masterpiece. Let's get right into it.
Just listen to this opening line. Wow, right? It instantly establishes this incredibly dramatic, cinematic tone from the source material. When you're prompting an AI, every single word carries massive weight. You aren't just giving a text-to-speech engine a random line to read out loud, you're actually establishing the emotional baseline for the entire piece. This phrase, spoken over the very first visual frame, immediately tells the viewer that what they're about to watch is significant, deliberate, and deeply human. And frankly, infusing that human emotion is exactly what you need when you're using artificial intelligence to generate art.
So, what are we really looking at here? This is essentially a masterclass blueprint. It reverse engineers exactly how top creators tell compelling stories using text-to-video platforms. Because, platforms like VO, Runway, or Sora, they don't just magically spit out an award-winning short film from a one-sentence prompt about a guy climbing a mountain. No way. They require a highly structured, scene-by-scene template. They need precise visual direction, and they need really specific camera movements. This script we're analyzing today is basically the architectural blueprint you need to guide the AI, literally frame by frame, to guarantee the final output feels cohesive, dynamic, and emotionally resonant.
Part 1. Structuring the 60-second arc, the timeline.
Okay, check out how this builds sequentially. The 5 scenes are mapped perfectly into specific second-by-second blocks to craft a complete narrative arc. It's incredibly deliberate. We start with scene 1 from 0 to 10 seconds, simply to establish the setting and the mood. Then, scene 2 shifts immediately into action for the next 10 seconds. But notice how scene 3, the struggle, gets a slightly longer block of 15 seconds. Why is that? Well, because it requires a fast-paced montage of studying, exercising, and facing failures to genuinely build that tension. Then scene 4, the climax, gets another 15 seconds as the impossible becomes possible, and that leads directly into the final 10 seconds of resolution. This exact allocation of time is absolutely crucial. It's what prevents the AI generation from wandering off, feeling monotonous, or just getting lost in the visual noise.
Moving on to part 2, directing the AI camera, text to visuals.
Look at how these text commands completely dictate the visual energy here. The intimate action of scene 2, tired eyes opening, running shoes being tied, pairs perfectly with the prompt for cinematic close-ups and slow motion. It intentionally draws the viewer in close. But then, as we hit the struggle in scene 3, the prompt explicitly demands dynamic transitions and speed ramps for that fast-paced montage. Finally, scene 4 releases all that built-up tension by giving the AI the command for a wide cinematic aerial shot circling as the subject reaches the summit. You aren't just telling the AI what to show, you're literally grabbing the virtual camera out of its hands and telling it exactly how to capture the moment.
Now check out this massive visual juxtaposition between the beginning and the end of our arc. Scene 1 starts with cold blue tones and a slow drone shot, moving forward of a lonely person before sunrise. But then, scene 4 just explodes with golden light filling the sky and a sweeping, wide, cinematic aerial shot. This visually proves the character's emotional progression. By explicitly coding these color palettes and lighting shifts directly into the prompt, moving from cold and dark to warm and golden, the script guarantees that the AI will subconsciously communicate growth and victory to the viewer, rather than just relying on the voiceover to do all the heavy lifting.
Next up is part 3, prompting for cinematic style, the macro details.
These high-impact keywords, they basically act as the rendering engine for the AI. They're what ensure the visuals feel like a high-budget film rather than just a standard flat generation. Terms like volumetric fog give real depth and physical texture to the environment. Saying shallow depth of field explicitly tells the AI to blur the background and focus sharply on our subject, which effortlessly creates that premium, expensive camera lens look. And specifying dramatic color grading alongside high contrast guarantees the final output won't have that washed-out generic aesthetic that early AI models were pretty notorious for. Make no mistake, this specific vocabulary is absolutely the secret sauce.
But hey, it's not just about what you see, right? It's about what you hear. Audio is just as vital to the final product.
The script prompt requires the music to physically build in intensity, starting from a really soft piano and swelling into powerful strings and heavy percussion. This instruction ensures that whoever is assembling the final piece matches the audio crescendo perfectly with the visual crescendo of the speed ramps and those sweeping summit shots. The visual and the audio literally have to climb the mountain together.
Which brings us to part 4, the final hook, the closing scene. This synchronized 4-step sequence is just brilliant for leaving a lasting impression. It completely harmonizes the visual, text, and voiceover into one crystal-clear call to action. We have the emotional visual of the confident smile. We have the explicit text overlay fading in. We have the calming camera action of a slow zoom out. And finally, we have the punchy narration, "Make it today." It's not just one element doing the work. By layering these 4 cues simultaneously, the AI guarantees a massive emotional payoff. The viewer is left with a powerful, singular message right as the scene loops or ends. Now you might be thinking, this only works for fitness motivation, right? No way. Think again. This exact structural skeleton, 5 scenes, the emotional arc, the camera dynamics, it can be mapped onto almost anything. You could take this framework and apply it to a luxury real estate showcase, a gritty sci-fi short, an engaging history lesson, or even a corporate business presentation. The underlying architecture is completely universal. You're really just swapping out the paint. And hey, if you're battling the brutal algorithms of TikTok, Reels, or Shorts, this framework condenses flawlessly into an aggressive 30-second format too. You just tighten up the timeline, sharpen that opening hook, and accelerate the payoff. It just proves that whether you have 60 seconds or 30, structured storytelling beats random prompting every single time. It really all comes down to how you guide the technology. Drawing directly from the script's ending text, I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought to ponder as you start generating your own masterpieces. The life you've always imagined is waiting on the other side of one decision. What will yours be today? I really hope this breakdown has empowered you to view AI generation not just as a fun parlor trick, but as a deeply structured art form. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy creating.